Welcome back, everybody. This is the final video for the videos of me reviewing my games from the MOCs finals a couple weeks ago. I think it was December 22nd. I want to thank everybody for watching up to this point. We will be going over round 10, 11, and 12, which are the final 3 rounds of the MOCs finals. I did end up winning the event, so spoiler alert. If you did not want to know that, I'm sorry. For a couple things, the reviews don't go over my sideboarding, so I will be talking about my sideboarding at the start of each game 2, and the sideboarding will also be in the comments of each video. I think that's all for now. We're going to get started on game 1 of round 10. This is the mirror match against Magnificent Magikarp, where I am on the play game 1. This hand's great. This is exactly what I dream about. I have a Llanowar Elf into 3-drop, into another aggressive 2-drop. I get to be on the play, and against an opponent that I don't know what they're playing, you can't really complain about this hand. This hand's only really bad against Jeskai, but I haven't played Jeskai all day. I don't really know if my opponent would be playing Jeskai at this point. So we keep. They have Forest, no Llanowar Elf. So to me, this means that they are also playing green-black, or maybe a mono-green Stompy deck, which is also a very good matchup for me. And they don't have Llanowar Elf. So all of a sudden, I'm extremely far ahead. I draw a second Jadelight. I leave Wildgrowth Walker on top of my library. They have Branchwalker, which is fine. I can attack with this. I assume they would trade. I play Wildgrowth, Branchwalker. Hopefully play this the following turn and bin this Seekers Squire, because I think it's not very good at this point in the game. If they want to Assassin's Trophy my Wildgrowth Walker, that's perfectly okay with me, because I already gained some life off of it, and I get a land out of it. And it's not really probably going to do that much for the rest of the game if they have like a Chupacabra or anything else. I did explore, so they allowed me, I think they allowed, no, they didn't allow me to explore. So there's another Wildgrowth Walker on top of my library, I think. No, there's not. Okay, yeah, so I explored twice, so I gained the life, and then they shuffled my library. So obviously, I don't know what's on top of my library. I draw a swamp. This sort of signifies to me that they have fine finality. They're trying to hide the fact that they have fine finality. Or they have a bunch of Carnage Tyrants that they need to cast that they can't cast. Or they have literal nothing. They have Vivians or whatever. So I don't know if I actually put this into play or not. I don't think I do the first time around. I think I just shove and pass, yeah. Because I want to play around fine finality. This was my best possible draw. So I have the opportunity to put this into play and put this into play and attack with everything and draw a card because this is lethal. I end up drawing it on the Llanowar Elves, put it into play. So this is where things get tricky. I think I actually ended up losing this game. I don't remember. But they have 6 mana with 3 cards. If I put them on Vraska's Contempt, they're 100% Vraska's Contempting my Midnight Reaper. And that puts them to 6. If they block here, they only take 4. If they untap and have fine finality, the game's pretty much over. But I can't really play around that because that's like a 2-card sequence that they haven't already done already. And they haven't cast Contempt at this point. I don't know if they would have cast fine finality last turn. But like, it's not really something I can play around otherwise because my game plan is sort of priced into that also. So I just choop this, attack with everything. They Contempt, untap, they have the fine finality, go to 21, draw a land, a good land, but a land. Play this, get back this, reveal Jadelight, and put them both on top. The reason I put Jadelight back on top of my library is so I can gain a bunch of life, so I can race this card specifically. I didn't like them putting this on top of their library with this because I find that pretty useless. You want to be looking for Vivians or other Carnage Tyrants. but it's fine with me. I just need to find a way to punch through 1 damage. So I find a cast down. I end up binning it. We go back and forth for a bit. They bin a druid in a cemetery. I brick off a bit, and eventually I draw this. It's interesting because I know they have a Chupacabra, so they'll probably kill this. So I have to figure out a way to make this Finality really good, somehow find a way to kill them, and not die myself. I think the best line is to grab Jadelight Ravenous Chupacabra, their Wildgrowth Walker, and play my Jadelight and try to gain a bunch of life, and then pass for the turn and hope to draw well after that. I think that's what I end up doing. Yeah, so I do Jadelight, I reveal 2 lands, play Chupacabra, and this is lethal. Or I guess it's not lethal, they're not at 1 anymore. They're at 4, so it's close to lethal. So they start attacking, because they're at 4, and I draw my Vivien Reid. They also have 2 cards in hand and haven't really been casting anything. So I think I put them on Vraska's Contempt, which is something reasonable to like put them on. So I play this Vivian. I just find 2 more lands and play one of the lands. They actually don't have Contempt, but they do have Finality. The second Finality cleanly kills my Vivien Reid, which is annoying. I play this Llanowar Elf in the land. They have now 1 card in hand, but I break off and die. So that's game 1. Game 2, for the green-black matchup, I side out 1 Doom Whisperer, 1 Squire, and I think 1 Wildgrowth Walker. And I side in 2 Contempt and 1 Trophy. So we're going to go first. We're going to keep this. Oh, no, I guess I mulliganed. Let me just restart that real quick. And we're going to mulligan this. 1 lands, bunch of spells, can't really keep it. They end up keeping their 7, which is not very good for me. And I have a good 3-drop and a good 3-drop and a good late game spell, but I'm pretty far behind. I think I did scry this to the top, which is a very good draw for me. And they don't have a Llanowar Elf. So I have a good chance of getting back in this game with a life total buffer and 2 really good cards. Them bidding this is nice, and drawing the second one of these is nice. This allows me to attack for 3 and really play who's the beatdown. I also hit my other 2 lands, so that's really good. I can now cast just about any spell I can draw, and I still have 2 very good cards in my hand, and another Jadelight if I want to keep gaining life. They go land, so I know about these 2, and I draw a Doom Whisperer, which is okay, not great. I'll have to really stagger out their Vivian if they have it, to make sure that the Doom Whisperer doesn't actually die immediately. But now I get to just put this into play and attack, which is sort of where I want to be. If they Contempt this, that's okay with me. If they Chupacabra it, I can always buy it back. I know at least one of the cards in their hand is a land. They haven't cast yet. They just play their own. So at this point, just put Vivian into play. If you have an answer to this, that's fine. I have my own cards. We're essentially at parity here, except I think I found a Jadelight off mine and they found a Chupacabra. The Chupacabra is very good for them, but I got very lucky and drew one of my Assassin's trophies. So if I find a land here, or even if I play this and then kill this, I'm like extremely far ahead. If they kill this, I get to draw a card, and I get to draw a card off my Vivian. They need to find a natural answer for this, or else they lose the game. And if they play another Vivian, my Vivian's ahead, and eventually I can just start attacking theirs. So I think that's what I end up doing. Okay, I see Wildgrowth Walker, play this, gain a bunch of life, see a bunch more cards, actually hit 2 lands off this, and then I Assassin's Trophy that in their draw step. They draw the Contempt. I assume they would have played the Contempt last turn instead of the Vivian if they had it. So I assume they drew it. And then we know about these 2 in their hand. To me, at this point, I really want to try to play around Finality as best as I can. So I want to be able to put this into play to try to find an answer to this, or try to find another card to put me over the top, such as Vivian, or Carnage Tyrant, or Vraska's Contempt. And then I can also put this into play and grow this and maybe attack with it if I really want to, but I don't think I do. Yep. I'm also at 33, so I can find just about any card I want in my deck. Yep, and that's exactly what I talked about. They killed this. I drew a card off of this. I milled a bunch of cards from Surveil. I'm probably going to Contempt here. I don't think I play the second one of these because I really want to play around losing a bunch of life to find Finality. But I do end up Jadelight Rangering and gaining a bunch more life. Oh, I do actually end up playing it. I guess I decided that... Oh, maybe I played it post-combat. Yeah, I think I Contempted the first one, attacked with everything, they blocked it. I drew a card or two and then played the second one. Yeah, that would make more sense. They find Finality by Chupacabra. I think they killed the wrong creature there. I think they should have killed this, but that's fine. And at this point, this game is essentially over. I have so many different card advantage engines. I have answers to all of their threats. I know that they have at least one other creature in a detention tower in their hand. And I just feel like very far ahead. And eventually, yeah, they just run out of resources. Just kill them. So that's game 2. Game 3, I'm on the draw. This hand's good. I have 2 early removal spells. Something to kill a Llanowar Elf. I have an early threat. I have another removal spell. I have a Carnage Tyrant. They didn't play Elf on turn 1, which is very promising to me. They also have no play on turn 2, which means that me being on the draw is good because I get to play Who's the Beatdown on the draw, where normally you play Who's the Beatdown on the play. So it's sort of like a complete role reversal. So if I'm Who's the Beatdown on the draw, it means that I get an extra card to help advance my game plan. Well, they are very slow. So their cards have less sort of malleability on what they get to do, and they have to answer my very aggressive attackers while I still have a card advantage engine. So I explored, revealed Wildgrowth Walker off this, which is probably, I don't want this. I can definitely just play this and play this Midnight Reaper and attack and see if they block. If they do block, it gives me a lot of information. If they don't block, it means that they're sort of already rich in resources, and they want to trade their bad creatures for better cards later in the game. Or they have a Chupacabra, and they want to just deal with my cards now. So I think that's what I do. Yeah, they trade. So they want to get more resources, whether it be lands, more powerful spells or something. Turns out to be Karn, and they reveal 2 lands. Now, if you know me at all, you know I don't really like Karn that much. To me, the card is kind of useless, and if you can answer it right away, it sort of doesn't really do anything. So my line here is to play this untapped, trophy this on their draw step. That way, if they have a Vivian or something else I can answer, I can trophy or cast down it. My hope is that they don't have Carnage Tyrant as a follow-up, because that's one of the cards that really punishes my hand full of removal and slow creatures. So I just have to hope that they don't have Carnage Tyrant. Yep. And they have Jadelight Branchwalker, and they draw a bunch of lands and bin a Druid of the Cowl. So at this point, I think they're kind of flooded, which is good for me that they're not playing Carnage on 6 or Vivian on 6, because it probably means they don't have it. So to me, putting a Jadelight plus leaving up Assassin's Trophy is very good here. I can also play Ravenous Chupacabra to kill a creature to really sort of cement my role of the aggro deck. But I think just trying to hit land so I can play this eventually is good. That's what I do. And I hit 1 and I reveal a Branchwalker, which I bin. And then I have this to follow up, and I have this for anything else. So they find Finality back this, and another creature. I block my Jadelight on their Jadelight to draw an extra card, and I hit Vivian, Woodland Cemetery. So I think I end up just putting the Vivian in play because they actually can't kill it through attacks. And I get to at least get a card or two off it, or they have to have a clean answer for it. They also drew a bunch of cards off these Branchwalkers lands, so I'm not entirely worried about being behind. Or I can just shoot that. It's also fine. This is fine for me. Just stare at each other for a bit. I have a card that goes over the top, and like I have an answer to their cards. So at this point, really want to find Finality. We've gone a couple turns, and they found an answer to my Carnage Tyrant and their own Carnage Tyrant. My life total is a little bit lower, and that's simply because I have had Midnight Reapers in play for a while. So one thing I really have to do is try to figure out a way to either gain a bunch of life back, wrath their board, or kill them before they kill me. I think one of the best ways to sort of do all three of those things is just put Carnage Tyrant into play and start trying to block, and hope that they don't find an answer to my own blockers. So I think the line is to just put this forest into play, put this Carnage Tyrant into play, and then the following turn I can Vivien Reid plus leave up Assassin's Trophy and hope they don't have some like really good sequence of cards that kills me. Yeah, so you just never block this when they have Memorial in play. They did Memorial back the other Carnage Tyrant, and just cast it. So now I'm just going to put this Vivian in play. I drew this card, which is really good for me. Vivian, it means that I can now start gaining life. And so they cast down my Midnight Reaper and attack everything at Vivian. And they have one card in hand. And this is a very promising position for me because I have a lot of different lines I can take. I just have to be very careful about which ones I take specifically. I know they have a Vivien Reid on top of their library, so that's something I have to beat next turn. The important part is to try to beat their board before they beat mine. So it's sort of really complicated because I assume the one card in their hand is a brick, and I want to be able to kill them without the game going too long because I'm losing to the board and I have to make very specific plays in the next couple turns to beat their Vivien Reid also. So because I'm priced into making those plays, I want to make sure that my opponent doesn't force me to make other plays that would make the plays that I have to make to not lose. Like I don't want them to be able to like have control over the game because I have to make certain plays because they're pressuring me a certain way. So what I actually end up doing here is I attack with Carnage Tyrant and see if they block. So in the original game, they block for a second and then stop blocking. And the reason they do that is because if I cast Find Finality, my Carnage Tyrant would also die. But the reason I made the attack is because if they block, I don't die the following turn, and I can always find Finality back a Jadelight Ranger and my own Carnage Tyrant to try to kill them the following turn. So the line here is to attack for 7, find Finality them, have them brick, hopefully brick on something good on Vivian, and make my Carnage Tyrant a 9/8, have lethal on board, so they have to block with their Carnage Tyrant, and then I can Assassin's Trophy their Vivian, and have my own Vivian plus Wildgrowth Walker on the follow-up. So I'll just do this slowly so everybody can see that. So I go to cast it, I'm like, no, that's stupid. Should attack first. So they block for a second, they don't block, they take 7, go to 7. Then I do the play I described. I might also just put this into play now. Yeah, I'm going to leave this up. Yep, they reveal Midnight Reaper, which is really good for me. It means that every time one of their creatures die, they take an additional life, and they're at 7. They have no cards in hand. I just Assassin's Trophy this. And I drew a very good one. The only one better would be Vraska's Contempt, because it cuts off one of their outs in this, but this cements me against Eldest Reborn, so I can actually cast this plus this and not die to Eldest Reborn. And then, so what happens is I choop this, they go to 6, they draw a card, they take 3 from Trample and go to 3, and I get to Assassin's Trophy this. And at this point, the game's essentially over. I get to also play the Wildgrowth Walker. Yeah. And that was the semis. Got very fortunate there to win that one. No, that was the quarters. My bad. Not the semis. This is the semis. My opponent, Zastoparikus. Zastoparikus? Yeah. They're on red-white aggro. Once again, on the draw, this hand's really good. Can't really complain about this. This is sort of an annoying one because I don't have double black, but I do have green, and like I'll hit double black eventually. I have 2 Explorer creatures. The one thing I have to worry about is Lava Coil or Tribunal, but it's possible that I just wait a turn to play around Tribunal, but I don't really have to. This is a good draw, but only if I hit double black. No blocks, obviously, into Vanguard. Once again, missing lands and drawing Midnight Reaper. Not great for me. This card's really bad in the matchup, and it's only good if you already have an advantage and want to cycle your bad cards into good ones, which is what I choose to do because I really need to hit lands. Of course, I miss on lands, and I'm sort of stuck at this very precarious position. I could play Branchwalker and try to hit an untapped land, so I can play more spells next turn. I can play Wildgrowth Walker, and if I assume... So, if I play Branchwalker, and I think there's a land on top of my library to hit, it's much better for me to just play Wildgrowth Walker, and then next turn play Wildgrowth Walker, Branchwalker, and just take the damage this turn, and hope they don't have a Tribunal. Or I can play Walker. If I don't think there's a card on top of my or a land on top of my library, I can bin it, and then it makes my next couple draw steps better. So to me, I think I end up playing the Merfolk Branchwalker, and I end up binning a card, and just hoping that I don't get to, oh no, I go for the greedier play, which like is a little greedier, but the margins are very small. Yeah, so they have Lava Coil, and I hit the land, which is annoying, because it makes the turn play I made last turn a little bit worse, but I still get sort of a reward, because I have a Wildgrowth Walker plus Branchwalker, and I'm going to put them on not having another removal spell for it. So this goes off, which is fine. I actually drew another land, which is nice. I get the free block on the token, and they drew another one of these for turn. So now I'm at 4, and they have 1 card in their hand. This plays a little bit sketchy because like this, like I go to 7, and I get a couple free blocks, so I can go like block, 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 take 5, go to 2. Or I can Contempt here, block here, and that's lethal. Or I go to 2 also, and I get to deal with one of these Vanguards. And then I can untap and play both of these, which might be better. Either way, I have to really hope they don't have, what's that card called? Reinforcements. So either play, I think, works out exactly the same. Or I could shoot one of these, and then I have 3 blockers. I could go block, 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 take 3, go to 1, which is essentially the same thing. So I do make the Chupacabra play. They draw another Adonto Vanguard. Now, not playing that line really rewarded me because I drew this, which is one of the only reasons why that play would be worse. And I got very lucky again. Because now I get to go to 7. I get a block here, and a block here if I want it. Or I could also just block here and take 4 and go to 3. If I block, I obviously have to block this knight. So block, 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 go to 4, or take 3, take 4, go to 3. And then I also have to just hope that they don't have reinforcements. I reveal a Vivian, and I just don't want a Vivian at this point. What I really want is a Jadelight Ranger or a Finality, so I can buy back this Branchwalker. I go to 3, and there we go, find Finality. And so I know they have no cards in hand. And I really go into the tank on this one because I don't have a 6th mana. So I can find Branchwalker, gain 6, go to 9. The unfortunate thing is that if they have reinforcements, I lose if I do that. So I'll have 3 blockers. I'll go block, block, block. They'll make a token here, and they'll have 5 total 2/2s, which is 10 damage. So I lose that by 1 life. They're also at 4. So you have to put this into perspective. Like, I'm close to killing them, and they're close to killing me. If I find Finality, Merfolk Branchwalker, I lose to exactly reinforcements. If I find Finality, Merfolk Branchwalker, Llanowar Elves, I don't lose to reinforcements, and I don't really know if I lose to anything else. I can then hopefully try to hit a land and play Carnage Tyrant plus Contempt and close up the game that way. So I end up finding a Llanowar Elf and a Branchwalker and gaining 6. I don't remember if I hit a land or not. I did, and I played it tapped. So that's really good for me. It means that my following turn I can play this, and at most they can go to 7, and I can play this and play this. Unfortunately, they do actually draw exactly reinforcements. And I go block, 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 block. I end up going to 1. They can't actually pay for any of this, but they now have 5 lethal creatures in play, and I have 2 blockers. If I go block, block, exile one of these, I go to 3, go back down to 2. So I actually get to deal with 3 tokens, but they still have 2 lethal attackers, and I can't actually put this into play, and they're at 10 now. So that's what I do, just pass back the turn. They try to go for lethal, I make that line, and they do nothing. I'm at 1. I'm dead to just about anything. I need to draw creatures because they get to make a 1/1 every turn when I'm at 1. Or I need to draw explore creatures. I unfortunately brick on a land, pass back, and they draw Legion Warboss. And that's how I lost game 1. It was very frustrating. I felt like I played very, very well for once in the event and didn't get lucky and rewarded. But it's okay because game 2 I did. I'm on the play. I'm just going to go over what I sideboarded real quick. I have 2 Contempts in, 2 Cast Down in, 2 Demise, and 2 Brontodon. Out, I take out 2 Carnage Tyrant, 3 Midnight Reaper, 1 Seekers Squire, 1 Vivian, and 1 Ravenous Chupacabra. Like I stated before, I take out the 1 Ravenous Chupacabra to play around Honor Guard, and I already bring in 2 Contempt, so I find you don't want to really bog yourself down on 4-drops. This matchup's really interesting because they bring in an array of cards such as Experimental Frenzy, Ajani, Aurelia, and Lava Coil. Sometimes they have Banefire. So sometimes you have a little bit too much removal for these like sort of diverse amount of threats, but you sort of just have to bring in the removal anyways. So to me, this is a really good hand. I'm obviously going to keep. They also keep 7, or they mull to 6, and I have a 2-drop, a good 3-drop, and some very good removal spells. They have no play on turn 1, which is very good for me, and I draw an answer to every single card in their deck. They Lava Coil my Branchwalker, which is so good for me, and I Jadelight Ranger Brontodon to the top of my library, so I have an answer to Tribunal if I need it. They follow up with a History of Benalia. I just play the Brontodon and pass back. They Lava Coil the Jadelight for like, the reason they do this is so I can't blow up their history, but I still think it is correct to target this. My line here is to just Golden Demise them and hold up Trophy, I think. Yeah, hold up Trophy, just pass back, They lava coil the Brontodon finally. I play the Vivian and find another Brontodon. And at this point, the game's pretty much over. They wasted a Heroic Reinforcements to deal 4 damage to my Vivian. I have an answer to Tribunal. I have a Wrath effect. I have a removal spell, and I have another removal spell, and another removal spell. So at this point, it doesn't exactly matter what I do. This card is really late to the party, and in a couple turns, the game is just pretty much over. In game 3, I'm on the draw, which is a little tough. So my 7 was 6 lands, 1 Llanowar Elf. And this is my 6, which is a very, very, very good 6. Exactly what you want. You want a 2-drop, a 3-drop that gains you life, and a Wrath effect. The one thing you really have to try to dodge is Lava Coil or Tribunal, which is fine. You're already on 6. You have to get a little lucky to win anyways. They also led with Plains no 1-drop, which is very nice. So we're probably not dead on turn 3. This is annoying because it stops my entire game plan, and I just draw a bunch of lands. But they're missing lands, and they lava coil it anyways. So it actually makes my life a little bit easier because now I'm not feeling bad about this card. They're also not playing any lands. They then lava coil my Llanowar Elf, which is understandable, but a little aggressive. And I rip a Vivian on perfect curve, and they're missing lands, and they only have 2 damage in play. There's no way for them to beat this Vivian. I find a Doom Whisperer, which is absolutely busted in the matchup. They play a War Boss, and I have no reason not to find Finality here, even if they have a backup War Boss. So very easy Wrath. I now have Wildgrowth Walker plus Jadelight, and I find Forest and just gain a bunch of life, and the game is over. And I don't think there's anything they can do to win at this point. I could keep going over the plays, but like I'm just gonna like Wrath them, put Doom Whisper into play, gain a bunch of life, kill their Aurelia, keep doing this for the rest of the game. And that's how I won the semis. I got very lucky to do so. Yeah, like I don't know if I would normally win that game on the draw without them missing lands. And of course, top 2 qualify for the MOCs. So at this point, me and my opponent in the final round have already won. I think we're both pretty exhausted at this point. I know I was. So there's not really a lot of gameplay going on. But my opponent's also on white-red aggro. I think I mulligan this, yeah. This is a much better 6. Like I have a Elf, I have 2 3-drops and a removal spell, Doom Whisperer that I drew. They keep a 1-lander. I put a Jadelight into play. Reveal, find Finality, just block. Just do this for eternity. They see Vivian and like they don't even see anything else anymore. They just binned everything and they know I have this. That's game 1. For sideboard, same as every other white-red aggro deck. I bring in 2 Contempt, I bring in 2 Cast Down, I bring in 2 Demise, and I bring in 2 Brontodon. Then I take out 2 Tyrant, take out 3 Midnight Reaper, take out 1 Seekers Squire, 1 Vivian, and 1 Ravenous Chupacabra. So I don't know if I would normally keep this against a white-red aggro deck normally, but I was just so over playing Magic at this point. Like I felt like I already won. And then I get automatically rewarded with the Overgrown Tomb. So the line was to just play Llanowar Elves, hope they don't kill this. Branchwalker, hope to hit lands eventually. I have some removal spell and a Wrath effect. But I draw a land in classic fashion. They don't attack and they don't play anything, which is amazing for me. I now get to play my Branchwalker. I could play another Llanowar Elves if I want to. I elected not to because I'm going to be playing this eventually. And they play this on 3. I have a removal spell for it. I have a Branchwalker. So I just like lead with Branchwalker. Put Cast Down in my bin because I want to hit more lands. And kill that. And then just attack a bunch. I have so many resources. I have an answer to this. Or I guess I actually Assassin's Trophy this, because this is actually lethal if I exile this. So I exile this, kill their Johnny, attack them for 1. I still have backup Wrath effect. And they just scooped him up after that. And yeah, that is how I won the MOCs finals. I got very lucky, and I played well at some points, but I also got very lucky. And if you want any key to success, it's you got to get really lucky, but you also got to play well. I feel like I registered a good deck for this event, and I feel like I played well when I needed to and got lucky when I needed to. But yeah, that's everything. I want to thank everybody for watching, and thank everybody for coming along for the ride. I hope you'll all watch me play the MOCs in Seattle in I think it's April 5th to 7th this year. There's only going to be 24 of us, so hopefully you have enough rooting energy to root for me. Anyways, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.